Good evening, Bullpups. It's Mrs. Williams coming to you live from my home office. It is Easter. I just got finished eating a nice dinner, a nice honey ham that Mr. Williams cooked. And we're going to watch Detective Pikachu once I finish doing this video. So I'm gonna make it quick. Been waiting for that to come to Hulu for a while, so I'm excited about it. I hope you're all safe and sound and staying warm. I hope you got to have a nice day today. I know it's not the usual Easter that we're all used to. We watched a service from our house this morning, and we've just been doing a lot of cooking, baking. We colored some Easter eggs. So that was fun, I guess, but I hope you had an enjoyable day. This week's hat, it's not really a hat, I guess. It's a visor, but it was given to me by my cousin Jeremy, and as a gag gift on his trip down to Florida. Little did he know that I would wear it genuinely and frequently. It's got a nice faux wood paneling on the bill there. It's great for when you're out in the swimming pool. Kind of, keeps your hair back, allows me to wear a pony. Yeah. Thought since it's Easter, new life, blah, 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 blah. I thought the flowers might be appropriate. So that's the hat of the week. Okay, let's talk about how this week went. Around Wednesday, I was checking some assignments turned in. I was realizing about half of the kids were doing the work. Now, you have the full week to complete the work. I'm not going to put grades in until the weekend, so that's fine, but I just want to make sure that you guys are keeping up with things, staying on top of it, checking Google Classroom regularly. You do not want to get behind because that's going to be really overwhelming. These assignments are not very long, I promise you. Any of you who did do your work this week, you should know that, yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, so if you are confused on anything, I did answer a few emails this week and some comments through Google Classroom. I am a little slower to answer through Google Classroom. I'm trying to figure out how I can get my settings to where it alerts me when people do that. Email is a little bit faster. And also use my phone. I'm going to eventually try and get a Google Hangout set up. I know there were a few teachers that tried it this week and it kind of bombed. Nobody showed up. So we'll see if I'm going to do that. But I would like to schedule it on a week that maybe we're reading a short story. We don't have a short story this week. You're reading a news article from News ELA about the Olympics. So look for that. Monday, it's going to be, you're watching this video. Tuesday, grammar review. Wednesday, read an article. Thursday, you answer the questions to the article. Friday, it's Fun Friday. I have a little activity for you guys that doesn't involve pencil or paper. So, hope you have fun with that. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Let's talk about these questions. The question responses that you guys put. Not too shabby. Not too shabby for the first attempt. There were several. I could tell that you guys went to SparkNotes or BookRags or Goodreads, Cliff Notes, any of those sites. And I guess that's okay because, hey, at least you're reading. I hope you're not at least just copying and pasting those answers in. Make sure you remind yourselves that I've read you guys' writing before, and I know what you're capable of, and you guys can't really get away with plagiarism. Can't get that one past me. Okay? So, before we dig into that a little bit deeper, I saw that a lot of us were maybe, well, let's review the question. Okay. What was the theme of this story? The landlady gives supporting details. Now, what I mean by supporting details is like evidence from the text. And some of you guys did that. Like, I think the theme was, and one that's sticking out in my mind is the theme was isolation. There was nobody in the town. Not many people checking in to the inn that Billy was staying at. Where I saw another response, one of the theme was deception, and tied that to things that the landlady was doing. So those are good. What I don't want you guys mixing up is theme and genre, okay? Make sure you know the difference between that. The genre of this story was horror mystery, okay? The theme, there are multiple themes, and I'll let you kind of decide that. I think isolation would be a good one. Deception, youth. It's kind of a Bildungsroman, if you guys remember when we read The Giver last year, when we talked about that, and it's like a coming of age story, right? So keep up those responses. Thank you very much. Make sure that you're responding. I did want you to respond to other people's as well. So okay. So I'm looking at, for example, I'm looking at Jenna Wade's here, and she has 4 replies to hers. Burke, Bailey, John, and Kaylee all replied to her. Shout out 6th hour. Whoop, whoop. Okay. But all the responses were like, I agree with Jenna, or yeah, me too. Ditto. Okay. I want you to kind of have a more thoughtful response to that. It doesn't need to be the same length as the original post, but it's, a 2-3 sentence response would probably be appropriate to that. What parts do you agree with specifically? Are there parts that you disagree with? Because you are allowed to disagree with your classmates, okay? Just make sure you do it politely and respectfully. So good job with that. Next time we do it, I'd like to see you kind of build those muscles a little bit more. But I was pleased with that. It looks like we have about half of the kids doing the work. So if you're, someone who is worried that you're falling behind, maybe be expecting a phone call from me this week, about halfway through the week. If you're someone who hasn't turned anything in for me yet since I posted any assignments, maybe be expecting an email or a phone call from me. All right. I hope you like The Landlady. Just to clear things up, I want you guys to know that she poisons people with tea, young boys. She's like looking for youthfulness, right? And then she stuffs their body and keeps them, like the dog. And what was it, a parrot? Yeah. If you're interested in going back to reading this story, there's one part, it said his tea tasted bitter, and arsenic has a really bitter taste to it. For some reason, it's like I guess people used to keep arsenic around their house a lot more for like rat poison. And I've read, this is not the first story I've read where someone has been poisoned to death by arsenic through like putting it into their sugar. I guess because it's kind of like a fine powder and it's easy to mix in there. And a couple of dollops of that and you're goner, okay? So, yeah, she's weird, right? Okay. I'm going to keep posting some fun short stories that I liked. Some of my favorites are maybe excerpts from longer stories. And we'll kind of dig into that a little bit more. But when I want you to remember that when I pose those questions, if I say give supporting details, I want you to give like evidence from the text, just like when we write in our essays, like, this is what I think, and this is the proof I have for why I think this, right? Okay. I'm not going to say don't use those websites like SparkNotes, like BookRags or Goodread, but be careful because you don't want to just plagiarize, because I know when you're plagiarizing. All right. With that being said, I'm going to sign off. Your grammar lesson is just a review this week. I don't think any of this should be too challenging for you as long as you're doing your work. I miss you all. Hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.